Hello friends, welcome back to the channel. In this video, we'll be discussing some more para summary questions that are asked in CAT and other management entrance examinations. As we have discussed a lot of para summary questions in the previous video, so the concept and the techniques have already been discussed at length. Now we will try to fine tune the concept and make the skills really adapt or make the skills really very good in your mind, so that you are able to easily spot the answer within the least possible time. This is a very important. Now we are going to do it in a quick manner, or you have to do it in a quick manner, so that you are developing the skill to reduce the time as much as possible, so that answers can be found out in the least possible time, thus saving a lot of time, because para summary questions are some of the easiest sections of VRC in CAT, where you have to save a lot of time, because in RC passages and all you will be spending a lot of time. So whatever extra time you will be spending on passages, you have to save from either para summary or para jumbles, because when you do these things fast, you get some additional time which you can utilize for RCs. This is the way of maximizing the accuracy as well as the answer, so that your score becomes very good. So this technique you need to do by going through the summary questions very fast and trying to answer this. So we will straight away go to the first question. I'll give you some time to read the passage, understand it, and go through the options. You also should try to get some idea regarding the answer within the time that I'm going to give you. All right, from the context, you should be able to understand that this passage is referring to the lockdown period during the COVID pandemic, when all the establishments had implemented the work from home policy, and there were all the official meetings were conducted through Zoom and other kind of video conferencing software. So this passage is talking about how companies started implementing some rules which were applicable for their online, or their when they're physically, when the employees were present in the office at that time, whatever rules were applicable for the employees, those same kind of rules companies started implementing for work from home policies as well. Means even when employees are working from home, companies started extending the office rules when the employees are working at home. This is the essence. And the passage talks about first talks about the adolescents or the teenagers who always have a tendency. Eternal impulse means a continuous tendency or continuous urge. So the adolescents or the teenagers, they have a tendency to push it. What is the significance of this phrase push it, given in inverted commas? Push it means exploit something or misuse something, that is pushing it. Something, exploit something to the maximum, or misuse something, a facility that is provided for something, that is, when that is being misused, it is called pushing it. So that is why it says that adolescents are pushing it, and this is done in Zoom also. So the teenagers are trying to exploit or misuse the facilities offered by this video conferencing platform called Zoom. Maybe they, during their classes or something like that, they were doing something, some mischievous thing or something that is not very disciplined. That is what is being referred to. So here in this such cases, what the passage is saying, human reprint. What is meant by this humane? Humane is not human, it is humane. HUMANE. There is an E And then means humane means something that is gentle or kind, that is humane. So reprimand means criticism. So a gentle criticism or a gentle or a kind criticism is quite distinct from an official disciplinary measure or a criminal complaint. Means when teenagers misuse the facilities offered by Zoom, a gentle criticism or a gentle reprimand of their action should be, or that is different from an official disciplinary action or a criminal complaint. So instead of filing a case or giving an official disciplinary action, human reprimand is something that is quite distinct. So from this we can understand that the author is basically in favor of not initiating any official disciplinary action or criminal complaint against the teenagers for misusing Zoom. He says that a gentle reprimand is preferred. He is not saying it directly, but from the tone you can understand that he is preferring it. The something quite distinct means it is something that is different from official disciplinary action. And then he talks about the official work environment. So first he talks about the school environment, then he talks about the office environment. So he says that many companies are passing down explicit, what do you mean by explicit, very clear rules for at home work both during and outside of official video meetings. So these kind of rules are implemented by companies not just during the video meetings. Official video meetings means Zoom is basically used for video meetings, right? But even outside, or even when the employees are not inside official video meeting, they are working at home but not in a meeting, even at that time the companies are have started to implement some very clear rules for at home works. And law firms have cracked down. What is the meaning of this expression, cracking down? Initiating some strict disciplinary action is called cracking down. So law firms have cracked down on employees tending to infants, so and school age children when who are stuck at home with them. So when COVID pandemic was there, or everything was under lockdown. So the people were working from home. The children were also being taught from home. Both the children and the adults were stuck together inside homes, and the law firms were severely disciplining the employees who tended to their children, either small children or school age children who were at home with them. So basically the officers were very strict that they should not be attending to the children while the people are supposed to be working from home. This is the meaning. And some companies have been emboldened. What is emboldened? They had the courage, or they had the extreme courage to extend the no smoking policy. So this is something called excessive, because in offices you have some no smoking policy. So such no smoking policy itself was again extended to the homes of the workers during at home working hours. Means some companies even implemented or even asked their employees not to smoke at home during office hours, because there is a no smoking policy when they were working in the offices, but the same no smoking policy is applied to people while they were working from home. So this is the kind of things that the companies had done. So this is basically talking about the companies initiating action against employees who were supposed to follow all the office rules as if they are working at office while working at home. So, and people who are not complying with these rules, the company started initiating action. This is the essence of the passage. Now you have to find the summary. Option A, the employers have extended the workplace rules into the homes, making these rules overt. Overt means very clear or explicit instruments of controlling workers' personal choices. So it is given here, the passing down explicit rules for at home work means very clear rules, very evident, something that everybody can see. That kind of rules are implemented. So it is not done in a very secretive manner or a gentle manner. In a very clear and direct manner, this kind of rules or methods are implemented for controlling the personal choices of the workers while they are working from home. So the people who are working from home, they thought that they had some personal choices or personal freedom, but the companies are saying that no, you are controlled. Even when you are working from home, you are still supposed to be working as if you are at office and you have to follow all the rules that are applicable when you are working at office. This is the meaning. So this is a good summary. It is not having any incorrect or inconsistent facts. It is containing all the essence or the important things in the passage. Probable answer, keep it in your mind. Option B, continuing enforcement of policies like no smoking outside the official premises of the workspace has become a necessary measurement. So here it says that continuing to enforce these kind of policies like no smoking outside the official premises. The last sentence, where people are working from home, even then no smoking policy is implemented. It has become a necessary measurement, means this was very much necessary. This is the meaning. Is the passage saying that such kind of policies are necessary? It says that companies are doing like this. Whether they are necessary or not, the passage is not saying. Passage is even the last sentence is saying that companies have become so daring. They had the guts to implement these kind of no smoking policies also. Whereas the option says that it has become necessary. So this necessary measurement is not given in the passage. The passage does not say that such kind of policies are necessary. So this is wrong. It is not saying whether it is necessary or unnecessary. The passage is only saying that these kind of rules are being implemented by the companies. That's all. Whether it is necessary or not necessary, the passage is not saying. So option B is wrong. Option C, reprimanding employees for catering. Reprimanding means criticizing employees for catering to their household needs during work hours, irrespective of the emergency of the task, has led to the opposite of the preferred safe and friendly work environment. So it says that when you try to discipline employees for attending to their household works during office hours, irrespective of the emergency, whatever be the emergency at home, that is not given. The passage is not saying that the employees were only attending to the emergency tasks at home. So this is not at all stated in the passage. That is the first problem. Second problem is that it has led to the opposite of the preferred and safe and friendly work. It means it has such kind of policies have made the employees hating the organization. Is it given here that the employees are not taking or not liking to these kind of things? Employees do not like this kind of controlling by the companies and all. Not given. Probably they might not be liking it, but this is not clearly given in the passage regarding whether the employees are liking these kind of control measures or not liking these kind of control measures. So this is an assumption that is not implied in the passage. Anything that is not directly implied in the passage should not be there in the summary. So we cannot say whether this kind of policies has led to the opposite of the safe and friendly work environment. Means the work environment is not safe and friendly because of these policies. That is not true. We don't know. It is not given, so we don't know. Option D, employees of law firms and other companies implementing the rules for the regulation of work from home environment needs to be checked and corrected. So he says that employees need to be checked and corrected. Means whatever employers are doing, that is correct. Employees have to be controlled or corrected. We don't know. The passage is not saying that this is necessary or the employees had to be controlled. It is only saying that adolescents are misusing this facility. Many facility means the Zoom facility, and companies, when we go to the office scenario, companies have started implementing a lot of rules controlling the behavior of the employees who are working from home. That's all. Whether these kind of rules and regulations are needed or the employees needed to be controlled, we don't know. This is not given. So anything that is not given or implied in the passage, you should not take as a summary. So this is something that is very important. Here it says that employees have to be controlled and corrected. We don't know. That is not given in the passage, neither implied. So this is why all these are having some inconsistencies that is not matching with the passage, whereas option A is something that is completely correct. It has got no inconsistencies. It matches, or whatever is given in option A matches with whatever is there in the passage. So option A should be your answer as a summary. Go to the second one. Benign means gentle. gentle, kind, gentle, etc. Relinquish, give up. That is relinquishing. Idiosyncrasies means typical behavior or some typical characteristics of an individual is called idiosyncrasies. Disenchantment, lack of interest. Lack of interest, no interest. All right, the passage appears to be a little bit philosophical, but just because it is philosophical, do not means go over or do not try to ignore the passage, because many people have a tendency to ignore or skip the passages which talk about philosophy and ideas concerned with philosophy. You have to read it, understand it, and then try to attempt it, because this is something simple. Once you understand it, it's a very simple passage. It is talking about the man or the human being, and it says that human beings are not the superficial things that we see from the outside. It is the normal or an ordinary process of life, a man going through the ordinary activities of life. That is not the real man, or something that is the real man is what lies beneath the spirit or the soul, the values, the ideals that a person has. This is called the real human being, and this human being is very much gentle, tolerant, and it is the real man. And this man, and it is our purpose to discover him, protect him, and see that he is utilized for his own and humanity's welfare. So such the real that character or something that is lying beneath each and every one of us, that is a real individual, and we have to discover that individual and use it for humanity's welfare. So this real man is not just satisfied with a mere earthly pursuits. So the real character or the real spirit that you have inside you is not just satisfied with the earthly or the normal things that we do on a daily basis. So such a person, or the your inner spirit or your spirituality or your soul, that is always on the lookout for something that is more important, something that is inspiring you to live on. That inspiration is actually for the welfare of the humanity. So we have to discover the real self within us and try to nurture that self so that it can be used for the welfare of the humanity. And the why this real man or the real human being is not satisfied with a mere earthly or the normal things that we do, because it is the nature of us to search for the truth in the good and beautiful lives, to esteem them properly, to cherish them, the truth, and to strive for them continuously. So because in all our souls there is this uh, desire to understand the truth regarding our life, about the beautiful life, and esteem and to cherish the beauty of our life. So that is why we are not satisfied with the normal earthly pursuits. We always are on the lookout for something that is more meaningful, and this is why we need to discover and protect that individuality or spirituality that is lying within us, that will be useful for the welfare of the humanity. So basically the passage says that man is not what it appears from the outside. He has got a deeper or a more meaningful self, which is called the spirit or soul within himself, and that soul or spirit is not satisfied with the normal things that we do on a daily basis. It is always searching for truth and happiness and the meaning of life, and it is better, we always have to try to discover that inner self and protect it so that we can use it for the welfare of the humanity. This is the meaning of the passage, so not very difficult. Once you understand it, it is very simple. Then the summary becomes even simpler. True beauty of life is revealed when a man decides to relinquish his worldly possessions. Is it saying that you have to give up all your worldly possessions or your normal whatever things you possess or in your normal life, you have to give up everything? The passage is not saying that. Passage only says that the true spirit or the true soul of any individual is not just satisfied with your worldly possessions. It is looking for something more meaningful, searching for the truth that is there in the good and beautiful life. So here it says that you have to give up your worldly possessions and desires. This is not true. The passage is not saying that you need to give up all your worldly possessions and desires. Option B, the idiosyncrasies or the typical characteristics of living a spiritual life are too detailed and complex for an ordinary mind to understand. Comprehend means understand. So it says that the special or the typical characteristics of a spiritual life are too complicated that ordinary people will not understand it. Wrong again, because the passage is not distinguishing between ordinary people and extraordinary people. The passage says that each and every individual has this soul or spirit within himself that is always trying to discover the truth or trying to understand the meaning of life. This is the meaning. So it says that the option is saying that the complexities of living a spiritual life are cannot be understood by an ordinary human being. Again, wrong. The passage is not saying that there are extraordinary human beings and ordinary human beings. No, the passage is only saying that all human beings have this inner soul and spirit and ideals that make him search for the truth. So this is the meaning. So option B is again wrong. Option C, earthly pursuits are insignificant. Insignificant means not important. And they are the primary reason for the disenchantment of society with spirituality. Means these earthly pursuit or whatever physical things we do or whatever physical desires and acquisitions that we have, they are not important and they are the reason for the lack of interest of society with spirituality. The passage is not saying that the earthly possessions are the reason for the lack of interest of society with spirituality. Again, wrong. Option D, the deeper pursuit of any person is the spiritual side of life, and this side presents the true worth of human life. This is a very good summary. All other options are containing some kind of inconsistencies that are not matching with whatever is stated in the passage, whereas option D is very clearly saying that deeper pursuit for any person. Yes, all the individuals, if there is a deeper pursuit, that is called the spiritual side of life, and this side presents the true worth of human life. So very good answer. Option D is your clear summary. So once you understand the passage, it will take less than a maybe half a minute to find the summary. So this is why you have to spend more time on the understanding the passage, then your summary becomes very clear. Now go to the third one. Excavating means digging out. Artifacts means ancient articles or any kind of pottery or any kind of things that are used by archaeologists. Who is an archaeologist? A person who is studying about the prehistoric cultures, etc., by analyzing the ancient things that are dug up from the earth. They are called archaeologists. Simplistic. Simplistic means something that is not answering the issue or not able to explain the issue properly. It is called simplistic. Something that is shallow, not very deep, or not very thorough, that is called simplistic. Vague, something that is not very clear, that is vague. So the passage is talking about the spread of ideas between people when the process of communication through writing was not available or not invented. So when writing was not invented means there was no method to convey or communicate an idea from one person to another person through the means of writing. But even in those times, cultural transmission was happening means people were able to communicate with each other. So how this was done? The ideas and technologies were transferred from one person to another directly. So it was always the passage says that communication was through person to person directly from one person to another person, maybe through speech or through actions. This was done, and the transfer of ideas took place. But archaeology is not able to clearly explain how this is happened. So it is not through writing, we know that, because writing was not yet invented, but ideas were still getting communicated or transferred from one person to another in a direct manner or a person to person manner. But how exactly was this being done? It is not very clear. That is why this statement is saying it is one of archaeology's great tasks to understand how this happens. So means archaeology is not yet able to understand how this is happening. And by when archaeologists are examining the different types of artifacts or articles that are dug up, and the archaeologists are explaining that the communication or the spreading of the culture or the spreading of the ideas took place through a method called diffusion. It was a very unclear term. Diffusion was the term used, and it was a vague 19th century term. Well, means not very clear term, a very vague term, suggesting that the movement of cultural practices between people was an uncomplicated process. Means the communication between people when writing was not invented was a very simple process, just like ink was spreading through blotting paper. Blotting paper, you know, the paper that is used for blotting the ink or the sucking out the ink, that is called blotting paper. So when you put a pen, ink pen on a blotting paper, the ink naturally spreads all over the blotting paper. So like ink spreading over blotting paper, this communication was being done. This is the explanation of the archaeologists, and option the author says that this is far too simplistic, or this explanation is very shallow kind of explanation, or not able to clearly tell us how this communication happened. That is the meaning. So the passage is saying that before the invention of writing, communication between persons were direct, means person to person communication was there. But how exactly was this done? Archaeology is not able to explain. People were able to be communicating with each other. That is why all these pottery designs and other kind of things are being copied from one culture to another culture, means there was communication. But how this was done, there is no clear explanation. There is an unclear explanation, that is called diffusion. Means it was as if it is a very normal process like ink passing through blotting paper. But this explanation is not a good explanation. That is what the author says. The last sentence is very important. This is far too simplistic, means this explanation is a very simplistic explanation, or this explanation of the process of communication that happened when writing was not invented was not a very good explanation. This is the meaning. Once you understand it, your answer becomes very simple. Option A, cultural transmission was prevalent even during olden ages when languages and the concept of writing were unknown. Yes, cultural transmission was prevalent, means people were able to communicate, or the cultural practices from one person or one society was being copied to another society. That is cultural transmission. That is being done. It was prevalent, means it was done regularly, continuously, even during olden ages when languages and the concept of writing were unknown. So it is talking about that. So that this is not having any inconsistencies. It is matching with what the passage is showing, but it is missing the main point here. Our main point is not about cultural transmission existing. Our point is about how this was being done. So the explanation given by archaeologists was not a good explanation. That point is not given here. So we will keep it as a probable answer, even though it is not highlighting the main thing in the passage. So since there is no mistake here, we will keep it as a probable action. Option B, the science of archaeology lacks a well-developed body of theory for understanding how ideas spread from one group to another during periods prior to the invention of writing. So see, this one is a better one, this one, because it is giving you the crux of the issue. The science of archaeology lacks a well-developed body of theory. Well-developed body of theory means a solid theory. Well-developed body of theory means a theory that is able to explain the problem. That is a solid theory. So the archaeology is not able having a solid theory for understanding how ideas spread from one group to another during periods prior to the invention of writing. So this is a better answer. It is talking about the crux of the issue. This option is not talking about the crux of the issue. So since we have a better answer here, you can remove this. So B is our probable answer now. Go to option C. Even before the introduction of a common way of communication, the movement of culture was not unheard of. Means movement of culture was there. Not unheard of. Two negatives means one positive. Not unheard of means the movement of culture was heard of. Means movement of culture was happening, and people had developed systems for cultural transmission. So it says that even before the introduction of a common way of communication. Is this correct? The passage says that before the invention of writing, communication was there, almost always person to person. Here it says that there was even before the introduction of common way of communication. This is wrong. The passage is saying that even before the invention of writing as a method of communication, there was another method of communication which was a person to person communication. So here this part is saying that even before the introduction of communication, there was absolutely no method of communication. That is wrong. So this part is wrong, and movement of culture was there and people developed systems. That is correct, but this first part is wrong. This is why this option is wrong. Option D, the works of archaeologists had substantial significance. Significance means relevance or importance in creating an understanding of the development of mankind. So here it is talking about how archaeologists have contributed to the development of mankind. This is a completely irrelevant option. Our discussion in the passage is not about the importance of the work done by archaeologists. It is about the lack of a theory by archaeologists on how cultural transmission took place when writing was not invented. That is the main theory. So since we already have a very good answer in option B, we will not go for these kind of irrelevant answers. We have a very good answer, option B. So this should be the summary. So this again is a very good question. So these are all CAT level and other management entrance exam level genuine questions or real questions. These are not model questions. So you have to practice questions like this so that your skill in attending the questions in the least possible time and arriving at the correct answer without any problem should become sharpened, and you should be able to do this very easily in the actual exam. Hope you have found the video to be useful in your preparation. Please like, share and subscribe to the channel, and then spread word about this particular channel so that I get more exposure. When I get more exposure, I will be motivated to bring you more videos on all the relevant VRC topics of CAT, etc. So thank you. Bye bye.